This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the newest addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where you bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
Handling multiple compliance cases can often feel like navigating a complex labyrinth. Ethico introduces simplicity and intelligence into this chaos with our custom workflow automation. By automatically routing cases based on your unique criteria, we turn the maze into a clear path forward. Envision a compliance process that's not just effective, but also intuitive and adaptable to your needs. It's time to redefine efficiency in your workplace. Embark on this journey of transformation at ethico.com/CPN. Book a demo and explore the white paper by Tom Fox, 2023, The Year in Compliance, to discover a world of seamless compliance management.
Today we take up a rarely discussed topic in compliance, which is compliance training abuse. I first heard this term from Sean Rogers, and he said this is the tendency of companies and government officials to apply and require compliance training courses to solve problems that training cannot and will not solve. But it gives the illusion that something is being done. In other words, a key component of a paper compliance program. We need to move away from this type of compliance training abuse, as it really is a check-the-box mentality to one part of what is seen as a compliance program. He pointed as examples to many state governments that are now requiring anti-harassment training and companies must repeat it every year. There are only so many ways you can train people on anti-harassment and only so many learning objectives associated with the topic. Yet, in some jurisdictions, companies must provide annual anti-harassment training to employees, not because the training will change anything when it's done for the 5th or 10th time, but because it's required by the force of law. This becomes another form of tax on a company, and it annoys and frustrates learners and company employees, and it undermines carefully thought out training strategies. When a company is hit by a major corruption or compliance scandal, one of the first responses is, we will require training. The decision is typically motivated by a desire to send a signal that the company recognizes it has a problem and is going to train people to behave properly. The problem with this approach is that while it may follow the letter of the law as laid out in the 2023 ECCP to mandate training on the lessons learned from prior incidents, it really does not follow the spirit, which is to understand and then remediate the problem and then train employees on the solution so they will act as your first line of defense. Compliance training, like everything else, has cost, and it has cost to employees in the form of the time they will spend in training, but also as a compliance professional, you need to think about your cost in losing credibility for putting on similar or the same training year after year, not engaging it and not making it useful. As I mentioned in the opening of this new podcast series, Compliance Tip of the Day, we are sponsored this month by Ethico. Are you struggling to close cases? Well, Ethico is here for you. Take advantage of their innovative approach to empathic issue intake, streamlined case management, and enterprise-wide disclosures. Learn more about how you can crowdsource risk management at scale at ethico.com/CPN. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The Compliance Tip of the Day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network.